Ag Tire Talks Driving Yield Through Tire Technology podcast is sponsored by Michelin Agriculture. Farm Forward, the impact of advanced tire tech.
James Tusher with Ag Tire Talk here. I'm with David Graden, Global Account Manager, Agriculture with Michelin Ag. Thank you for being on Driving Yield Through Tire Technology today.
James, thanks for having me today.
Full tire we're going to look at today, latest generation, the CerexBib Michelin. We're going to talk about a topic that's near and dear to you. I know it is. It's not only combine, but also using a combine tire for some other applications. 580 85R42 CerexBib 2 in 750 65R26, not only VF rated, but cyclic field operation plus CFO plus. Why did you build these couple of sizes, David?
James, these tires are behemoths in the market. They have a giant carrying capacity, but I'm going to tell you, I have seen these tires literally walk on water. I have seen them. I've seen harvesters go through standing water in field when a pickup truck can't get 10 feet. They just work. The flotation, the carrying capacity. Think about this. I've weighed a lot of equipment in my years. This CerexBib 2, more times than not. So the minimum air pressure for these tires is about 17 psi.
Yeah.
Right. So when you put these things, let's say it's that combine, it's an S780, 12-row corn head. Yep. It's a beast of a machine.
Yes, it is.
We set the air pressures roughly at 18, 19 psi.
Yeah, it's low.
Yeah. And there have been some cases with some combine sizes where I've had to set them at 17 because that's the minimum to maintain the structural integrity of the tire. There is so much more upward potential for these tires.
So let's talk about your basic school of thought here. You like dual versus single. Why don't you expound upon that?
I absolutely do. So think about this. There's a growing number of manufacturers looking into wide single options for combines, even for four-wheel drive tractors and so on. Mm-hmm. The square inches on the ground of these 580s is larger than a 1250.
Okay.
The actual square, we've measured this. And so when you look at that, the flotation is fantastic. The tractive capacity, because the footprints are very long,
yes, they are
huge. It's just massive footprint. And you need that big footprint for that flotation. I mean, you got to think you're planting your grain so that you can harvest it and make your money. If you don't harvest that grain at harvest season, I mean, there's your income, right? You have to get it out regardless of the weather. And I'll be honest, these 580, 85R42 CerexBibs, I mean, there's nothing like them in the market today.
Well, if you just take the section width and you just round it, the two duals, you're right about a 1200 section width anyways. So yeah, I mean, with VF technology with cyclic field operation plus as well, I can see that footprint, right, being in that same area or even larger. So good point to bring up. So they're VF rated, 40% less air pressure. We got that piece of the puzzle. Why don't you touch on cyclic field operation, CFO plus, what that does for the producer?
The CFO plus, so CFO, like you've mentioned, stands for cyclical field operation. So Michelin has designated these tires for that cyclical field operation because when a tire carries a large amount of weight, but it's not for a very long period of time, then technically that tire could carry a larger amount of weight for a short period of time. And so that enabled us to run calculations and to measure and give air pressures, speed recommendations, and all of that. So it opened up a whole new world for Michelin VF tires by developing this CFO designation. And so these tires can carry a giant amount of weight in cyclical field operation, but that's not it. I mean, think about this. You could use the CerexBib 2 in other applications as well.
A good point. Yeah, one of the things I did want to touch on, CerexBib, from my perspective, even when we chat a little bit beforehand, I'm like, oh, this is really a harvester tire, right? I just automatically pivot to that. So what are you seeing out there as far as all their uses for CerexBib 2?
Yeah, so Michelin has a habit of our naming condition, our naming conventions will actually kind of pigeonhole our tires. Think about the spray bib. Well, it's got
Yeah.
the word spray in it, sprayer tires. CerexBib has to do with harvesting, harvest tire, but that's not necessarily what it has to work in. The applications can be broad, right? The tire's design, all right, the tire was designed to carry very heavy loads
Yes.
at low to no torque,
Yes.
right? So if you have an application where you can put these tires on the back end of a tractor and it's got low to no torque, then why not?
And it
Or
can carry
cyclical
so much load.
application. Yeah, absolutely. Same thing with spray bibs that we talked earlier. I've put spray bibs on two-wheel drive tractors, or you
Yes.
put spray bibs in very narrow row crop applications. It's not necessarily needs to be pigeonholed into one application.
One other point is that oftentimes when you if you take a sprayer tire and you put it on a tractor, that's easier usage for that tire, right? So it's not as
Absolutely.
demanding, a lot of times you get more hours on it, the like. So, the harvest application is typically notorious for being demanding, right? With those big, big loads. So, that's another point to consider when you start taking these in other applications that are low torque as well. So,
That's right.
well, good. So let's make sure I got it right. So really, this thing's got everything. It's got not only VF technology, but it's got cyclic field operation plus. The main point is that Michelin's basic school of thought is that, hey, the dual setup is what we like to gravitate to as a general rule because we can get the footprints equal or larger to the single applications, provides a little bit more flexibility, coupled with that rear offering as well, giving you flotation as good as you can possibly get it, to use your words, walk on water. And then also, it's important for our producers to remember just because it says CerexBib 2 or that something like that on the side doesn't mean it's only for harvester applications. Oftentimes, it can be used for other applications amazingly well also. What I missed, David?
No, you absolutely nailed it, James. But I would like to add one more
Yeah.
plug. So all Michelin Ultra Flex tires, like the CerexBib, the Spray Bib, the Yield Bib, the AccuBib 2, Floatex Bib, all of these Ultra Flex tires also come with a 1-year total satisfaction guarantee.
That's a big deal. It's a big deal.
If a producer is unhappy with these, they buy them in the spring. They run some of these tires. They run this Ultraflex technology tire through spring planting and through harvest. At the end of the year, if they're not satisfied, we'll take them back.
That's a big deal. How many you get back, David?
Well, we currently don't take any back.
No wonder you're plugging it, because they always
kicked around the idea of extending it to a 2-year total satisfaction guarantee. Not official. We haven't gone through legal on that, but it is something that we're kicking around the idea of, because currently we're accruing for a fund to cover this. But if we're not spending the money, then clearly our people, our customers are highly satisfied with these. Let's push that envelope a little further. Let's see how far we can get with these. And really, again, being the most expensive tire in the market, we have to give people the warm and fuzzies that they're buying the right tire and that their money is really being well spent on the highest quality product out there on the market.
It's great to hear that program working out so well because of the performance, David. And that is a wrap.